So with that, let's begin. Welcome, everyone. This is Recovery Dharma. My name is Julia. I'm one of the facilitators of this beautiful community. It is a privilege to practice with you today, to share this space with you today, to come into the presence of the three jewels, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. I'd like to set the intention for our practice today with a sentiment of loving kindness. Loving kindness, metta or maitri, is a limitless quality that we can cultivate, but we can't do so without practice. And we also can't do so if our practice doesn't include challenges and irritants and annoyances and upending experiences. That's really where the rubber meets the road. And so loving kindness is applied with great inclusivity across all the spectrum, all the good things in our lives, all the icky things in our lives, all the neutral things in our lives. This one reads, may you heal your wounds with great care. May you heal your wounds with great care. Ah. You know, I'd like to take a moment and pause on that sentiment a little bit because it's so resonant with what we've been exploring as a community for the month of November, and that is the four practices of generosity. And the theme that keeps emerging repeatedly is the way we receive generosity. So, part of tending to our own wounds, part of having the agency to heal our own wounds with care, is to include others, to allow, to recognize when our wounds are severe enough that they extend beyond our own capacity, and to include other people, their professional care, their training, their calling. And by calling them into our own lives, by requesting their care, we are being so giving because we're giving somebody an opportunity to share their expertise. So, generosity, even in terms of receiving, is such an expression of cyclical mutuality. I receive and I give. And in my giving, I receive more. And in my receiving, I give. And so it goes. So as we're tending to our own wounds, be them physical, spiritual, or emotional, let's not forget that we're not alone. And we can call on other people to help us care. We've been exploring Shantideva and the Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. This is the book that we're using, and it is a translation by Geshe Kelsang Gyatso. And we're on the 6th chapter, and this chapter is all about relying on patience. And today, this particular section, I'm actually going to read several verses because they read really smoothly. And they're such a great reminder of how much patience it takes to be happy for other people. Now, when I say that and when I hear it in my own mind, there's a part of me, there's a little part of my personality that's like, what? Of course I'm happy for other people. Why wouldn't I be? Except that isn't always true. It's not, certainly not the whole truth, because I have to admit that when there are people that I disapprove of, when they're happy or when good things are happening to them, I'm like, why do they get the good stuff? I mean, they're terrible. They should have terrible things happen to them. And then I catch myself and I'm like, wait, what? What am I saying? And then confusion starts to come. There are also times in my life, if I'm ever in a place of personal self doubt or insecurity, when somebody else is getting attention or praise or whatever, I'm like, why can't I be more like that? What's the matter with me? And I get all into that competitive, comparative mind. And boy, does that ever do a number on my capacity to truly be happy for somebody, to get myself out of it entirely and just look at the situation and go, wow, that person is happy. No matter who they are, no matter what they've done, all beings want to be happy. No beings want to suffer. That is a basic Buddhist principle. So let's read what Shantideva has to say. I do want to plant a quick seed, and that is I just want to plant the words spiritual bypassing, because I want to make sure that I led with my own personal illustration, because it's so easy to hear these spiritual practices and be like, great, yeah, I don't matter. I'm just happy for this other person all the time. And I'm just going to pretend that I don't have the feelings that I have. That's spiritual bypassing, friends. If you're in a situation where envy is arising, jealousy is arising, and it's inhibiting you from actually being happy for someone else, that's the place to start. That's the place to apply some of this effort. That's a wound that actually needs some tending. And so we don't want to pretend it's not there. We don't want to bypass over it. We don't want to skip over it to get to this practice. Takes a lot of patience. So, with that, let's begin. These are the words of Shantideva. When my own good qualities are praised, I want others to rejoice in me. So, why, when others' good qualities are praised, should I not want to rejoice in them? Having generated the bodhicitta motivation, wishing for all living beings to be happy, why on earth do we not rejoice when others find some happiness for themselves? If I really wish for living beings to become Buddhas, who are worshipped throughout all worlds, why do I dislike it so when others receive a little mundane respect? If someone I was looking after and providing for in different ways were to find his own source of livelihood, surely I would be happy, not upset. If I begrudge living beings even this, how can I wish for them to attain enlightenment? Where is the bodhicitta in one who is not happy when others receive something good? People become angry when someone benefits their enemy. But whether their enemy receives benefit or not, it is the enemy's own anger that urges him to attack. So is it that anger which is to blame, not the benefactor? Why, by getting angry, do we throw away our merit, the faith others have in us, and our other good qualities, would it not be better to get angry with anger itself? For it brings no benefit to us or to others. It is bad enough that you, mind, have no remorse for the non-virtues you have committed. But why do you compound it by being jealous with those who practice virtue? The thought that wishes for our enemy to suffer harms only us through creating non-virtue. Understanding this, we should not develop harmful thoughts toward anyone, including our enemies. And even if your enemy did suffer as you wish, how would that benefit you? If you say, well, at least it would give me some satisfaction, how can there be a mind lower than that? Such thoughts are like unbearably sharp hooks cast by the fishermen of the delusions, such as anger. Once caught on them, we shall definitely be boiled alive in the terrifying cauldrons of the guardians of hell. Praise, fame, and good reputation will not increase my merit or extend my life, nor will they give me strength, freedom from illness, or any form of physical pleasure. Transient pleasures, such as drinking and playing meaningless games, are deceptive. If I understand the real meaning of a human life, such things will have no value for me. For the sake of fame and reputation, people give away their wealth and even sacrifice their lives. But what good can a few dry words do when we die? To whom can they bring any pleasure? When people lose their reputation, they become despondent, like a child who cries when the sandcastle he has built is washed away by the tide. A few short-lived inanimate sounds can have no intention to praise me. But they are the source of pleasure for the one who praises you, so you should be happy. Whether someone praises me or others, how shall I benefit from their pleasure, since it is entirely in their mind? I shall not receive any part of it. But you should be happy because he is happy. Then I should feel the same way about everyone, in which case I should also be happy when something pleases my enemy. Seeking happiness from praise given by friends and others is entirely inappropriate. It is completely childish behavior. Praise and so forth distract me from virtue, weaken my delusionment with samsara, cause me to envy others' good qualities, and undermine everything that is beneficial. Therefore, those who conspire to prevent me from being praised are really acting to prevent me from falling into the lower realms. I, who seek liberation, have no need for wealth or a good reputation, for they only keep me bound in samsara. So why should I get angry with those who free me from this bondage? Those who cause me suffering are like Buddhas bestowing their blessings, since they lead me to liberating paths. Why should I get angry with them? It is really important as we go into some silence here to reflect that Shantideva is very clearly saying, why should I get angry? He's asking a question. He's being curious and he's inviting us to inquire. to cultivate some insight. He's not saying don't be angry. And that's a really essential insight here. To get angry, to have confusion, to be upended, these are very human experiences, and they are the threshold for our practice. And so rather than meet that arising with, oh, I shouldn't be feeling this, he's encouraging us to practice the instrument of peace. Wow, would you look at this? Why am I angry? Why am I upended? Why can't I feel happy for this person? They're happy. Why am I judging the situation so much? He's not saying beat yourself up, put yourself down, judge yourself harshly. He's saying stay open, be curious, and come back to the mantra. All beings want to be happy. No beings want to suffer. The first noble truth is there is suffering. As human beings, that's a legacy that we carry. We carry the experiences of our own lives, but we also carry the experiences of our ancestors too. That is deep suffering. And the Buddha reminds us, there's a way to wake up to that. There's a way to understand it. There's a way to alleviate it. It's possible to have less misery, less confusion, less discontent. But we have to have patience in order to practice and cultivate our understanding, to see our intentions and motivations, to act with wisdom, and to apply effort that is equanimous, to be cautious and mindful of our speech that includes the way we're present in listening, to be willing to change our whole life, to apply mindfulness, present time awareness, and to be secured by our own capacity to be focused, disciplined, concentrated. The Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, the Noble Eightfold Path, remind us that the nobility of these practices lives within each of you. It's not out here somewhere to be bestowed upon you. You already have it, it's already there. It's simply a matter of practice. So let's spend a few moments in silence practicing breathing and just allow your mind lots of space to wander in and out of thought and take notice of what arises for you and see if you can invite what is ever there to be a friendly and faithful companion to you. Enjoy your practice.
Namaste, friends.
Toward our dedication of merit. What a beautiful practice, friends. And I'd like to invite you to come into a full noble posture. So let's do this with intentionality. Sit nice and tall wherever you are, just for this moment. Roll your shoulders up to your ears and roll them back. And see if you can do that slowly enough where you can feel the muscles. You can feel maybe even the balls of your shoulder and the shoulder socket. Just do it a couple of times. Roll them a couple of times. Feel your shoulder blades kissing each other in the back if you have that kind of flexibility, which I don't. But then notice, bring your gaze to the level of the heart and see if you can lift the heart. Sada. Sada is heart led. And this is about really taking in the practice today, taking in words like patience, taking patience to those very human experiences that reveal our non-virtuous ways of being, or in other words, that reveal where we're still unskillful. And remember, friends, the whole point of this practice isn't to become some perfect version of ourselves. This practice is to become our whole selves and to make space for all of those aspects of us that aren't skillful and to let them be and to acknowledge them and to recognize, whoa, you just almost got into the driver's seat of my life, and that would not have been a good thing. So I'm not going to let you drive my life. And that is an incredible result of practice. You see it everywhere in people who are unskillful and unpracticed. They've got anger driving them everywhere. They've got confusion dictating. They've got ignorance working their mouths. It's everywhere. And we're here to practice recognizing that and not participating in the same way. Instead, acknowledging that that exists and then responding in a completely different way, activating our virtue, activating our skill, activating our wisdom that has always been there. This is about trusting your knowing. This is about expressing your whole unique you. This is about being the light in the world because all beings want to be happy. No beings want to suffer. Through your efforts, may you bring peace and ease. Through your practice, may you bring joy and protection. By way of your practice, may you bring healing to your own wounds and by extension to the wounds of life. By the merit of your practice, may this energetically ripple out into the world, far and wide. May it land on anyone or any living being in need, like a gentle kiss, a little bit of warmth, a moment of recognition that no one is alone and nothing in one's life is wasted. Everything about you matters. Thank you for bringing your practice here today, friends, to the sacredness of you, Buddhas to be. I bow. Namaste.